friends. My name is Amber. This is a Lovely Yarn podcast. And right now I am in my kitchen. I am gonna treat myself to a lovely, milky cappuccino. I'm gonna get that and then we're gonna head to my filming spot where I have all my yarn and all of my projects. I am really excited about what I have to share with you guys today. I have 4 finished projects. 3 of them are garments, which is amazing. I want to tell you guys what I'm going to be packing in my suitcase for my upcoming traveling. I have 3 favorite shawls that I want to share with you. We woke up to temperatures in the 30s the last 2 mornings, and so shawl weather is on my mind. And then I'm also going to be announcing the giveaway winner. That was from my last regular episode, which was probably like a month and a half ago. So stay tuned. I've got lots of exciting stuff to unpack for you all today. Thanks for being here. Before we dig into all the nitty goodness, I want to take a moment to thank Creative Crochet Corner for sponsoring today's video. I recently used one of their videos to make the cutest little crochet journal, so I want to talk about this amazing platform and some of the ways it can help crochet lovers, whether a beginner or advanced crocheter, explore new projects and learn new skills. Creative Crochet Corner is a valuable online resource for crocheters of all skill levels with thousands of step-by-step videos, projects, and downloadable guides. So there's so much to learn and discover, and they are often adding new lessons and videos, so there will always be something new to learn. Lately, I've wanted to get back into the practice of art journaling, so when I saw the crochet journal video tutorial by Brenda KB Anderson, I immediately picked out my yarn colors and picked up my hook. I was actually able to whip mine up in less than a day. I added custom cut watercolor paper so I can paint right in my journal in addition to writing my thoughts down. I mean, look at this thing. It is so adorable. I love it. Creative Crochet Corner has a fantastic offer for my subscribers. The first 1,000 viewers who join using the link down in this video description will get a 1-year premium membership for only $1.49. This is valid for new members only. So thanks again, Creative Crochet Corner, for sponsoring this video. Okay, I am in my bedroom, which is where I keep all of the majority of my yarn. And I'm in my regular filming place right in front of one of the bookcases. My spinning wheel that is very dusty because I haven't spun on it for so long. This is such a delectable cappuccino. I made it with almond milk. No, soy milk and a little bit of maple syrup. And I only did 1 shot of espresso. And I'm hoping I don't regret this because sometimes I'm perfectly fine with caffeine, but I feel like more times than not, now that I've gotten older, caffeine makes me jittery and anxious and gives me heart palpitations. I just felt like I needed some cozy coffee this morning. I had black tea this morning, which is what I've been drinking because I seem to tolerate that amount of caffeine better. So I may be regretting this decision later on today. As I said earlier, I have so much to talk to you guys about, and I'm really excited to film this. I have been cracking down on my whips. So I have not filmed an actual sit down and show you what I've knit episode for a pretty long time. I don't know, is a month and a half a long time? So that is my plan for today, but I have more than that because I just want to talk to you all. I want to talk to you all. I've been feeling so very creative My creative energy is very high right now. Typically, that is weird for me. Fall is beautiful, but in the past, I kind of have always felt myself getting kind of blah in the fall because I know the winter is coming after fall and I don't like all the gray and everything. Okay, so anyway, usually the springtime is when I get a major creative rush, and that happened a little bit this year, but not like it normally does. So that's how I'm feeling now. The feelings I'm having now are the ones I typically get in the spring. So I'm wondering if my year just kind of flip-flopped. I am going to get right into the meat of this podcast. We're going to start out. I'm just going to show you what I have finished. I'm going to talk about what I'm packing on our upcoming trip south. I have the giveaway winner to announce, and I want to share my favorite shawls that I have knitted and the ones I wear the most. Okay, so if you have watched my vlogs, which I know not all of you watch my vlogs, I know not everybody is into vlogs, so that's okay. Because of that, I do want to show some of the things that I quickly showed in my vlogs, or actually only one of them was finished when I was doing my vlog. So I want to show you that. My first finished project, this is my Lotus tee. I really actually love this a lot. This Lotus tee is a pattern that is actually a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's by Focolana. I think it's hard to see the contrast. It's not a real high contrast color work. I do admit that, but I was working with what I had, and I really like these two colors together. So I'll link the details of everything down below for like the yarn or the patterns and all of that. So if you can't write it down while I'm talking, or if you forget, it's gonna be down there unless I forget, at which case you can just message or comment and I will try to get it stuck in there. But this is like, I cannot remember the exact name because Drops doesn't always list the names on the balls, like on the bands, but they'll list them on the website. So again, colors will be down below, but I do know that this like corally color is called red clay. And then this is kind of like a sea green or something like that. But Drops Safran is a summer type of yarn. So I finished this. I have worn it actually a couple of times. Oh, I have the ball bands right here. I have the balls of yarn. Color 63. And I don't know what the red clay is, but I do know this is called red clay. And Drops Safran is a 100% cotton. So the bad thing about this pattern, it is free, but it literally only comes in 4 sizes. So it comes in a small, medium, large, and extra large. According to the measurements, I was to make a large, which typically I make like a smaller medium. Now, I started out, and it's been a while since I knit this, so I can't remember if I had to tear it out or what happened, but I remember coming to some point in the yoke and thinking this is too big for me and I should not be knitting the large, so I'm going to go down to knit the medium. Because even though my gauge was actually right on, so even though that was right on, it was coming out way bigger than what I wanted. Anyway, it is a free pattern, so keep that in mind. And it is written in metrics, so if you live in the United States and you don't have any clue how to convert that, just look it up on Google because that's so super easy to do. But it is a really pretty, it's probably one of my favorite summer tees. I don't know that I would knit this again, although it probably would be fun to knit this in a wool yarn and just modify the sleeves to be long sleeve and do a higher contrast. Let me show you. I think they're supposed to be little flowers because here, let me show you if you can kind of see more contrast there. Mine just doesn't, you can't even really tell that it's flowers, but I like the colors. So, but yeah, like I said, I used the needle size that the pattern said, and I think I followed everything as the pattern said as well. I think that most of you know Maybe new viewers don't know this, but those of you who have been watching my episodes for a while know that one of my favorite sweater patterns is the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. I have knit so many. I don't even know. I've lost count. I'm actually going to do a whole video just on all the different Ranunculus sweaters that I have knit because I've knit them in so many different types and brands of yarn, and I just love that pattern. But anyway, I had bought when we were in Shenandoah, Charlottesville, Virginia, back in July, I went to Magpie Knits and I had bought 6 skeins of Sandnes Garn Lena yarn. Okay, so this is the yarn that is very much, maybe even identical in composition to Drop Spell, which I've used Drop Spell a lot. And I wanted to try out the Sandnes Garn Lena because I had never tried it before. It is definitely more pricey. It's not like really, really pricey, but it's definitely more pricey than the Drop Spell. And so I wanted to see if there was a big difference. Now, there's definitely a difference in your color choices. Like there are way more options for the Sandnes Garn Lena as far as color range than there is for the Drop Spell. But I wanted to get a feel for the experience knitting it and then how the garment felt. The jury is not out on that yet. I was actually going to do a whole video on that, and then summer passed by so quickly. It was like, whew, it's gone. And so I'm going to hold off on that until probably next year. But I did finish my ice blue ranunculus. I wore it for the first time on Saturday. I usually wait to wear my garments until I show them on my podcast, but we were going somewhere that I needed a little bit of a dressy, but not too dressy, like casual, nice looking outfit. So I wore this with my olive green linen pants and a pair of sandals. And yeah, now let me tell you, I normally can whip out a ranunculus in no time. I've knit it so many times. I hardly ever have to worry about gauge because I've knit it in so many different weights that it's never, like, I just know, okay? But something happened with this one, and it took me all summer, I think, to knit, well, since July, and I just recently finished it. I just blocked it last week, and I finished it last week and I blocked it last week. And that is because I had to rip this thing out 3 times. Now, the first time I ripped it out the whole way. The second time I ripped back, and then the third time I ripped, I had it like bound off everything. It just needed blocked. And I was like, this is way too tight. I tried it on and it was basically skin tight. And so I was like, oh, that's wonderful. I'm so tired of working on this. But I love this color and I really wanted this ranunculus in this color. So I ended up ripping it back to right here, like the arms. And because I didn't want to have to rip out the arms. The arms were already bound off. I didn't want to have to go back into the yoke. So I realized what I did. I realized that I did not knit the right size for myself. Had I looked back in my knitting notebook at the last ranunculus that I knit in the Drop Spell, which is the same weight and the exact same gauge as I got with the Sandnes Garn Lena, I would have seen that I went up a size. So I had so many people ask, what size did I knit when I knit using this? This is a DK weight yarn, Sandnes Garn Lena. And I used a size US 6 for both the Drop Spell and this one. I thought I had used an 8, and that was my first mistake. The first time I ripped it out was because I started with the size 8 and the gauge was way too loose for me. And I thought, I don't like this at all. I don't like a big open gauge. I like something a little bit more dense, not too dense, but a little bit more dense than what I was getting with the size US 8 needle. And so I ripped that out and then I cast on again with the US 6. And then as I was doing, like when you get to the increase section, which you don't do that right away, every size you cast on the same amount of stitches, which is really nice. And then you pick your size as you're going down through the yoke. I should have sized up, but I did not. I knit the smallest size, which is what I typically do when I'm knitting with a worsted weight yarn, and like a size 9, 8 or 9 needle, which is, I think, probably I've knit more ranunculus sweaters with the size US 8 or 9 than with the 6. I pulled back I ripped it all out. I pulled back. And then what I ended up doing is doing really just some increases. And you can see how it kind of goes out at the side. It's not too bad now. Before I blocked it, it looked ridiculous. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you can see where I wove my ends in. That's one of the bad things of working with like plant-based fibers. If any of you have any tricks on how to eliminate the squiggle lines, let me know. Let me turn it this way. I don't have any. I always try to join like under the arm or somewhere less like noticeable. Because yeah, do you see what I'm talking about? You can see where I wove those ends in. Anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, I should have decreased more gradual, but the reason I increased so quickly was because it was really tight around my bust the first time, like when I bound it off and thought I was done with it. And so I wanted to increase quickly so I had more room in my bust. But it's fine because when I put it on and wear it, you don't even see that angle. And actually it's not even that bad right now that I've blocked it. I just really pulled this part out when I was blocking. Pre-blocking, yeah, not so good. But again, the magic of blocking. So I hope that answers your questions. US 6, I don't really know what size I knit because I just increased until I got to where I tried it on and it felt loose enough. So I'm sorry about that. Maybe, let's see. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know what size I knit. Let me see if I go back to my drop spell one, if I can figure it out from that. Okay, I did write it down. So I ended up doing a size 2. I did the second size when I knit my drop spell. And with this one, I had started with size 1. So yeah, if that's helpful, I have a 37-inch full bust here, and I think 35 on my underarm bust. Or underarm measurement. So hopefully that's helpful for those of you who were asking about the size that I knit this in. Oh, and also because I've had people ask, I used 5 whole skeins of this. I had bought 6. I only had to dip into this, like a little bit of the 6 skein. I have essentially a whole 6 skein left, which is fine because I'm just kind of collecting all of my DK weight yarn that's like the drop spell and now the Sandnes Garn Lena, and I'm going to maybe do a stripy thing, maybe the Tolsta Tee next year, like a stripy version of it, because I think all the colors that I've used so far with those yarns are make a nice color scheme for a Tolsta Tee, a striped one. So that is what's going on with that. All right, so let's put this to the side. My last finished garment. This is 3 garments. I'm so proud of myself. All right, it is the Luna sweater. Can you see it? It's hard to get it all in the frame. And this was a kit from Unravelled Knitting. The last time I looked, they were out of this kit, so I'm really, really sorry about that. I will put a link down below if you want to get a percentage off. I think it's like 10% off. If you use the link down below, you can get 10% off your very first kit. I've talked about them in past podcasts, but it's a really cool small business located in New Zealand. And actually, I don't think they're shipping to the US right now. So if you're in the US, it's going to be hard to get a kit from them, as a lot of like yarny businesses in other countries, they've halted their shipping to the US until they get things figured out with the new tariff system and everything. But I think you should still be able to get all their kits if you're outside the US. So if you use the link down below, you'll get 10% off of your first kit. And they basically send you this box that's just packed full of every single thing you need, down to the needle to weave in your ends. Oh, stitch markers, a little leather tag to sew into your project when it's all done. It's really cool. And I finished this. Now, I did do it a little bit different. And because I thought about it, this was supposed to have like the bell sleeves and then this I-cord thing that kind of cinches it up. I'll put a picture in so you can see what I'm talking about. And I was really excited about that at first because I thought that's different. I don't have anything like that. It's really pretty. But then I was thinking I am probably not going to wear that very often because I like to be able to like fold up my sleeves or roll up my sleeves. And I was like, with that particular sleeve, I don't know how easy that's going to be. And then I could see myself not wearing it, which would be a huge shame because this yarn is so incredibly soft and lovely and luscious. And so I decided to just take this on a little bit of a different, I just detoured a bit with the sleeves, just with the sleeves. So what I ended up doing is, and I still have my stitch markers on it. I just noticed that because I haven't blocked this. It doesn't even feel like it needs blocked. I just did a straight. I didn't do a straight. I decreased a bit. I did some decreasing on the sleeves and then I left them kind of big. And then I just bound off. I just bound off using a regular bind off and then it gave the rolled hem because that's what happens if you bind off in stockinette. So I did that for the sleeves and then I also did that for the body, which I think that was written into the pattern for the body. It was either an I-cord bind off or a rolled stockinette bind off. And I had thought about doing the I-cord bind off, but then I was worried about it cinching in too much and being a little bit too tight around my hips. And this sweater, I have plans for it. I'm going to talk about just very quickly and briefly, but I'm so excited. So I had to keep going on the track that went with my vision. It's so cozy. This yarn is absolutely wonderful. I'm looking around to see if I can find it. I used all of it, but this amount. So that was spot on. They did a great job with sending me enough yarn. And this is the Unravelled Dew. So that's like their brand. And it is an alpaca wool linen blend. And then I held that was like this green color, which is absolutely gorgeous. I would love to knit a sweater just in this color. And then I held it double with this Indicita Baby Surrey and Silk, which is this, okay? And yes, now what are my plans for this sweater? I'm gonna just talk briefly about it because this sweater I'm hoping will become a whole episode of its own. I got back into embroidery early in the summer. Maybe it was even the spring. And I have been enjoying embroidering things. And I don't really show it much on here because I feel like this is a knitting podcast, although I am very much multi-craftual. Most of what I show on here, especially during these kind of episodes, is just knitting and crochet. You'll see more of my other craftiness in my vlogging, like when I post vlogs and stuff. But I've been really into embroidery, including embroidering clothing. And I have been wanting to embroider one of my hand knit sweaters. I actually have multiple sweaters in mind that I already made in the past that I would think would be beautiful with embroidery on them. And so I bought a book because I love books. I'm a reader. I love books. I always have. This is the book I bought. I'm going to do a whole episode on this book and what I do with the sweater. So that's coming up sometime this fall or winter. But this is Embroidery on Knits by Judith Gumlich. If I mispronounce that name, I'm very sorry. And this is all about how to embroider on your knits. And then it also gives like different actual projects. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this because I'm going to do a special episode because this book is so special. This is actually going in my suitcase with me because I'm going to read it on vacation and just like, I have been saving this book. I've had this book as soon as it came out, I pre-ordered it. So you can get this as a hardcover. You can, and they had it on the Woolly Thistle and I thought about getting it, but it was $50 some and I saw that it was coming out as a pre-order for the soft, like the paperback version on Amazon. And so I think it came out the very, very beginning of August. So I had pre-ordered it way back in May, I think it was. And then I waited, which the summer went fast. So I didn't feel like I really actually waited that long. But, and then this came in August and I've only skimmed it. And I've looked at the projects, but I haven't really read any of it yet because I want to do it when I can savor it. So it's going on vacation with me. This is going with me. But anyway, I'm going to do a whole video on this and how this inspires me to embroider this, but I have some ideas. So stay tuned for that. If you're into embroidery and particularly embroidering your clothing or your hand knits, you want to elevate your hand knits even more, maybe that episode will provide some inspiration for you. Okay, I had 2 more finished objects. I actually thought I only had 4, but I have 5. So, okay. This one, did I show? I don't think I showed these. I didn't show these to you, did I? I've had these done for a while, and I have them, I always, when I finish stuff, I just stick it on this shelf if it's small enough, or I pile it up somewhere else. And I had these stuck over here, so I don't think I've showed you the finished. These are my Mall Madness socks. I talked about these in a vlog. I'm calling them my Mall Madness socks because they remind me of a board game that my sisters and I used to play back in the 80s called Mall Madness. If you know, you know. And so it's just, these colors are screaming the 80s to me. I just made these kind of like a, what is that, a crew sock? So I cast on 56 stitches on a US 1 needle. I'm pretty sure it was a 1. And I did the 2x2 ribbing, and then I think I did that for 20 rounds. And then I did my heel flap, my gusset, and then my foot. So these are done, very simple, no pattern, just I've knit so many socks that I can just, you know, people who knit socks a lot can just whip socks out. That's what I did with these. Like, but anyway, those are the main details of how I knit these socks. Oh, and this is Patons Kroy yarn, and I will put the colorway down below, but it is classified as a fingering weight yarn. It is definitely not, in my opinion, and the opinion of, I think, many other knitters. It's more of a sport weight. So just keep that in mind if you're knitting socks with Patons Kroy. You would have seen my little brand sponsorship commercial for Creative Crochet Corner. And I just want to show you quickly. And I kind of feel bad showing you this because it's not a pattern that you can access unless you're a member. But you could probably, if you are a crocheter, you could probably replicate this pretty easily because it's just granny squares and then some, you know, like the spine. But I think this is so cute and I'm really excited. I'm going to take this with me too on vacation. I actually made this whole thing, and so the teacher of this class had said to use like a stiffened felt for this part, but I did not have stiffened felt. I had regular felt. I had starch, but I was too lazy to mix the two and make a stiffened felt. So I got in my journaling supplies, and one of these old notebooks that I thrifted, it was like old notebook, probably from the 70s, which I was born in the 70s. So anyway, I just cut the back and front off because it was like an oddly shaped notebook, and I used that, and it's nice and stiff. And then you just like punch holes and stitch into it. Okay. And then I went a little rogue on the inside, didn't do it exactly how the instructions said, because I wanted to be able, I didn't want it to be like so tight that I couldn't turn my watercolor paper and write. So it's real loose, and I can lay it flat, so I can turn it and lay it flat. Okay. I just put washi tape in here because I typically, when I do a watercolor painting, I typically do a washi tape border just to make like a margin anyway. So I just added that in. And this is actually just watercolor paper that I put in here. And I'm going to take this with me on vacation. Now, I would have done this a little bit differently. So you know how when you do your first project, you learn things. And I'm actually thinking, and this is another reason why I'm kind of glad that I went off script on how to insert the paper, because I'm actually thinking that I would really like, so my original intention was to put paper in this that I could both write on and have like just maybe some pretty scrapbook paper in here to do some decoupage on or something like that, and then have the watercolor interspersed throughout. But then I ended up just putting watercolor paper in, and now I'm regretting that. So I think what I am actually going to do is just snip this and add some new fun different papers in this journal and make this kind of like, I don't know, just a journal. I've been wanting to get back into art journaling. I've done it in the past, but I haven't done it. I have hardly written in my journal for the last year, which is really sad because I used to do that every single morning. I don't know it's just been weird. But anyway, I think I'm going to do that. And the only thing that's difficult is I have to line all of these up. So like, I want to show you what I did. I messed up and I didn't line them up the first time. So then I had to go back and re-hole punch. So I may just do this a little bit nicer. Yeah, I may just do this a little bit nicer and refill it with lots of different papers and make the watercolor paper a little bit nicer. But that was done through a video tutorial and pattern that I got off of Creative Crochet Corner. So it's just so cute. It's so cute. That was it for my finished objects. Now I want to talk about what I'm working on, actively working on, because, you know, I had all those whips that I talked about and I finished, that was 4 that I had finished because this was not included in that. I'm really happy with where I am with this next project. Also, I have this bag. Somebody sent this to me in the mail for my birthday last year. I have a secret gift giver. Every year for the past 3 or 4 years, somebody sends me during my birth month a gift that is completely anonymous. And it is so baffling to me. And I've asked numerous people, and I really wish I knew who it was so I could say thank you. But anyway, this was part of that gift last year. It's not hoarding if it's yarn. This is the perfect size bag for a chunky sweater. And that is what is in this. This is my step-by-step cardigan by Florence Miller. And after I finished the ranunculus and my Luna sweater, I picked this back up. I don't know why. I'm always so intimidated by certain things, and then I pick it up and then I'm like, that was no big deal. Why was I so intimidated? I had paused this because I had run out of yarn, so I paused it back in the spring, and then I ordered more yarn, and then it was spring and summer and I didn't want to work on this big heavy sweater, so I had just left it on the shelf, and then I started feeling intimidated because I'm like, I got to figure out where I was and, you know, all that. But then that wasn't even hard. So I think a lot of what we think is hard is actually not hard. We just need to do it. Life lesson there for you that I've learned from knitting. So I finished off the sleeves. I don't know if I strayed from the pattern or not because I typically do my own thing for sleeves. I did do some decreases. I think I did like 5 rounds of decreases in each sleeve. I left my little, so I always put little bulb stitch markers to mark my decreases. I did 5 decreases, and then I did a really quick decrease here to make it just balloon a little bit before I did the 1x1 ribbing. And I just this morning picked up for the button band. I feel like picking up stitches for button bands can be a little tricky at times. I know I'm not the only one that thinks that, because, you know, if you pick up too many, then your button band is sloppy. If you don't pick up enough, then there's too much tension on it and it scrunches up. And so I just get a little like slightly tense maybe when I'm picking up button bands. But then I'm like, why am I tense? It's just knitting. I can just rip it out and start again. So I just picked up for the button band. Now I have to go mark for my buttons, and then I'm going to be doing, I think it's a double knitted button band. So I'm going to be doing an Italian cast on, and then I will be doing that the whole way around, and then this will be done. I actually want to finish this up this week. That's my goal. I want to finish this week. So what is today? Tuesday. It's September 9th. So I want to finish this up, and I will be so happy if I can. I think that I can do that. I think I can finish this up this week. But I'm using Drops Air in the mauve colorway, and I'm holding it double with Purl Soho Linen Quill and the Peach Stone. So those two yarns together are giving me this beautiful, lovely mauvey, lavenderish tinged cardigan. Which, speaking of, I am now an affiliate with Purl Soho. I'm so excited. I am really excited about that. They opened up their affiliate program, I think back in the spring, and I applied, and I was able to get into that program. I really do love Purl Soho yarn, so it's nice that I can be an affiliate with them now. What does that mean for you? It does not mean anything for you really, except that if you click through any of my Purl Soho affiliate links that I provide in these video descriptions, I will make a small commission off of your purchase. You will not be charged any differently, but I do make a small commission. So if you do choose to do that, I do want to say thank you because I do greatly appreciate that. But yeah, this is just so lovely together. I am knitting, let me see here. Let's see if Amber was good and marked what size she was knitting. Okay, so I cast on for size 3. And size 3 is supposed to be for approximately a 37-inch bust. And my gauge was just a tad bit bigger, so I knew it was going to knit up just a tad bit bigger. So I have a note here in my knitting notebook. Amber was good. I said I did not do as many increases as the pattern stated. After splitting for the sleeves, I did not do any further increases. I just knitted flat in stockinette. So apparently after you split for the sleeves, you're supposed to maybe increase more, and I decided no because it would be too big. Okay, size 3, but modified to be a bit smaller because my gauge was a bit off. This pattern is written for, I think it's for a worsted weight yarn. Worsted weight or maybe Aran even. It's not really specifying what type of yarn. It's just saying your gauge needs to be 16 stitches. And I think if I would have just knit this with just the drops of air, I probably would have hit gauge. But because I added in the lace weight, this is actually fingering weight, Purl Soho Linen Quill. Because I added that, I definitely got a bigger gauge. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about any more of my other whips, except I'm going to include those in the What Am I Packing in My Suitcase segment of this podcast episode. I still have time before I'm leaving for my trip, so this could change. I know you know what I'm talking about. All right, but from right now at this present time, this is what I'm going to take. And I am going to be at a beach town in North Carolina, and there is a yarn shop not very far from where we are staying. It is the Salty Sheep Yarn Shop in Swansboro, North Carolina. So if by some miracle I would finish all these projects, which is not going to happen, I will have access to yarn to start something new. And let's just be honest, I'm going to go to that yarn shop at least once because last time I went to this particular beach, I went twice to the yarn shop during that week. I'm going to be going to that yarn shop at least once, and I'm going to most likely buy something. This is what I'm going to pack, okay? These first 2 things are things that you have seen because I featured them in my whip down video, so I'm not going to talk very much about them. Actually, no, I didn't talk about these because I forgot that these were a whip. These are just the blueberry socks that I'm knitting using the thrifted yarn that I found at a thrift store while camping this spring. So this is this very colorful yarn that many of you thought was probably eaten by moths, and that's why it had so many breaks in it, which I've been dreaming about moths eating my yarn all summer now, just want to say. So I'm taking this because I've been working on these all summer since May, and this is all the farther I have gotten on this sock, okay? 1 sock. I'm also taking my mitts, the winglet mitts, which I've also shown. I'm knitting this in Knit Picks palette in the Serpentine colorway. This is my first one. It looks very, very tiny because it's not blocked yet. Let me put it on my hand. Okay, it has that really pretty moth motif on it. And then I need to finish the thumb on this one, and then this one will be done. And the second one, I This is where I'm doing one of those things where I'm feeling intimidated, trying to figure out where I left off, because I left off somewhere in the moth and I got to figure that out on the chart, which is not going to be hard. I'm just imagining it's going to be. So this is how far I am on the second one. This will go fast. This will definitely go fast. This is not a hard pattern. It's just really, really pretty. Then the next thing I'm going to be taking is actually a gift for someone. So anytime I have a niece or nephew, and so far it's just been nieces, the nephews are all still younger. But anytime one of my nieces or nephews turns 16, I knit them a pair of handmade socks. And so I have a niece who is turning 16 this month. And so I hope she doesn't watch this, because I feel like, I know she watches some of my stuff. She watches my Vlogmas episodes. So I'm really hoping she doesn't watch this. I'm taking a chance here. I realize that. But I'm going to knit her a pair of socks for her 16th birthday. And I'm going to be using this DK weight sock yarn from Sweet Mountain Crafts. I've had this for a while. I ordered it last year at some point. This is her From the Nest set, and it is DK weight sock that is 75 merino, 25 nylon. It is super wash. So yeah, this is what I'm gonna make for her. I need to get this wound up into cakes, and this will be good. This is gonna be good travel knitting. I'm planning on making the blueberry waffle socks, so the same pattern as this one, and it is a free pattern. It's a pattern that is actually written for DK weight socks. So that's the pattern I am planning on using for these. You guys voted. I asked you. I said I want to knit another Drama sweater. And for those of you who didn't watch that episode, it's just my last episode. Oh, it was my 10 knitted garments that I would definitely knit again. That's right. So go check that out if you're interested in seeing that. I'll link it down below. But I featured my Drama sweater because I've knit 2 of these. And actually, I knit them both in the same exact yarn and colors. And this is the Drops Air in the... Oh boy, it's slipping my mind what this yarn is. Or what this charcoal color is called. It's linked in that video. I know that the gray is Purl gray. And this is like peppercorn or something. I said I want to reknit this in different colors, and I asked you guys to vote your favorite, and there was like a bright blue color, a raspberry pink color, and then a more soft subdued teal color. And the main body of my sweater, I said, was going to be this off-white. It's like a creamy off-white. And there were lots of votes for all 3 of them, but by far the teal knocked it out of the park. It did. And this is the color that I'm going to go with. It doesn't look overly, it looks way more like just a light blue color on camera, but it has more green undertones whenever you see it in real life. And I actually bought this yarn to make myself a whole step-by-step cardigan, that pattern I just showed you that I'm working on. But okay, here's the problem. Because now I need you guys to help me with this, and I need to make this decision soon, because I'm going to be this is going to be another project that I'm taking and packing to take with me to work on when we are on vacation. But now I'm like, I have sweater quantities of both colors. So do I make this the main color and this the contrast color, which is what I was gonna do, or do I make this the main color and do the color work in this off-white? What do you guys think? Because I'm kind of thinking maybe I want a whole sweater in this color with this, but then I really like the idea of having a light sweater with this in the contrast. I don't know what to do. So chime in down below, please. Tell me what you think I should do. Which one should be my main color and which one should be the contrast color? Oh, and this pattern is a pattern by Jennifer Steingass, who is a complete colorwork genius. She has so many beautiful colorwork sweaters. I've knit multiple patterns of hers. Really enjoy her colorwork patterns. I feel like they're really easy to understand. So if you've never knit colorwork before, go for it. Actually, her for my very first Colorwork sweater, I knit one of her patterns. I can't remember which one it was called. I'll put a picture of it here up on here, and then I'll link it down below. But it was my first Colorwork pattern, and it was super easy to understand. I had no problems at all with it. Okay, let's take a little knitting content break just to share the giveaway winner. And that giveaway is actually going to be for this beautiful bag that I did not take out of the packaging because I wanted to give the winner the experience of fully unwrapping it. But it's from Olivia of This Handmade Life. I actually have so many of her bags. This is the same style of bag. This was one of the winter versions that I purchased last year or the year before. So this is what this bag in the package looks like. So there's this, and then this beautiful skein of yarn from Cake Wool Company. And then other goodies that I bought to put in that I'm not going to show because I want them to be a surprise, because I love surprises. Like good surprises, not bad surprises. I don't like bad surprises. Okay, so the winner, I'm going to put it up here because I just did this morning. There were, I think, over 1,000 comments, and I just used a random YouTube comment picker. And here you go. This is the winner, and the winner is at Wendy Purl. P-U-R-L. I'll put it up here. So Wendy, I'm going to kind of like try to tag you down below in the video description, and hopefully you'll get a notification on YouTube. But basically, I need you to contact me via my email, which is also listed down below in the video description, alovelyarn@gmail.com, because I'm going to need to get your address so I can get this shipped out to you. So congratulations, Wendy. Okay, and now back to our knitting content. And actually, this is going to wrap up this is the last segment of this podcast episode. I'm going to show you these in the order that I knitted them. And this first one, I knitted this as, I think this was one of my very first shawls. It may have been the first shawl that I ever knit in my entire life. This is the Campside shawl. This is a pattern by Alicia Plumer. And it is, because it's been so long since I knit this, I don't remember a lot of details about it. So I'm just going to show you because I wear this one a lot. Now, some of that could be because of the yarn choice and also the color. It's a neutral color, so it goes with a lot of things. It has a beautiful drape, and I think part of the reason it has such a nice drape is because of the yarn content, but also because it's got the like the eyelet lace work throughout all of it, which gives it a little bit more drape, I believe. But this yarn was by Shibui Knits, and I unfortunately do not have the tag. I don't even think Shibui Knits exists anymore. I think they've closed down production, or maybe I kind of remember seeing that Madeline Tosh maybe took over Shibui Knits, but I won this yarn in a giveaway a long time ago. And so I knit it into this shawl. And if I remember correctly, I think it had cashmere. It was like some sort of wool, probably merino. It's super soft. And then a little bit of cashmere, maybe some silk. It doesn't really look like it has silk. Maybe it's just wool, like merino and cashmere. I don't even remember the name of it. And this was back before I even really knew much about Ravelry. So I don't think I have any project notes on there. I'll look and see. But yeah, this is one of my most worn shawls. I typically wear my shawls tied like this. I love shawls that I can wear tied like this. I don't typically wear them over my shoulders, like draped over my shoulders. This is how I like them. Then I knit several years back. This is such a fun knit. I actually have been wanting to do another one I think from the moment I bound off this one, I wanted to knit another one. I just never have. This is the Color Cray shawl by Tammy Gore, Narrow Path Designs. This was so fun to knit. So fun to knit. You got caught on my spinning wheel. So basically all of these colors, all of these different colors are just little mini skeins, which is what made this so fun. And then there's little sections of brioche, there's sections of eyelet lace, then there's just some like garter stitch. And I love garter stitch because I think it makes things so extra squishy. But this is probably my most worn shawl. I wear this out of like these three. This is the one I wear the most. And it's a great pattern. It is super fun. And I definitely, I should make another one. It's been so long. I should make another one. It's like hard for me to knit shawls because I don't wear shawls a ton. I wear them more as scarves. So I wear them on really cold days and I usually wear them with my coat. I don't typically wear them in the house, you know? So I feel like I have all these shawls because I like knitting shawls, but I don't actually wear shawls as much as I like knitting them. So I have a lot of shawls. And so sometimes I feel like knitting another shawl is just very extra. But then if I enjoy it, I should just let myself do it. And it wouldn't require me buying any new yarn because, you know, I've got all that fingering weight there because this is a fingering weight shawl. And then I've got so many minis. So I should just do it. Okay, this last one is the crocheted one. And I actually just knit this one this last winter. It is the Granny Stripe Shawl by Moan of Crochet Object. And it is just a granny stripe with all different colored minis. And I just had fun. And this was a fun project to knit during the winter because, you know, it's bleak and gray and gross and cold and, you know, all that stuff. And knitting or crocheting this with all these different colors was so much fun and it brought a lot of joy to my life. And then I just did I trimmed it out with this, it's not navy blue. It's like a darker blue, but it's brighter than navy. And I actually want to crochet. If I keep saying knit, I apologize because I probably am saying knit because I knit way more than I crochet. But I actually want to make another one of these. And one of the really cool things about her pattern is that I'm holding it upside down. Hold on. She wrote this so that it kind of angles down in a way that makes it nice if you want to wear it around your shoulders like this. It keeps it, the way that she designed the shawl, it keeps it on your shoulders better than other shawls. This is the way. This is how I do it. Yeah. A little neater, but isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? This is the one I wear when I want to like just feel like I need brightened up. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun with this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it and found some inspiring things within it. Also, please don't forget to vote. What should I do with that Drama sweater? Which one should be the main body color? Don't forget to check down below for my other social media platforms that I'm on. All of that information can be found down there. And thank you guys so very much for coming here today and watching. I want to give a shout out to the viewers who have supported me on Ko-Fi. I really greatly appreciate that. And I'm almost to where I can buy myself an actual camera so I don't have to use my phone anymore, which is so super exciting. So thank you guys so much. And I'm going to end this now and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.